Hello and welcome to another episode of the Happy Movie Mangoes. I'm Spencer,
I'm Matt.
and Dallin could not make it to this session, but we have his notes and we will add them into this episode, which today we're talking about the top five least favorite movies of ours. And yeah, let's just jump right into it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
All right, Spencer, you want to go first for your number five
Yes.
least favorite movie of all time?
So the list thing is kind of counterintuitive for least favorite.
Hmm.
So five is my like number
Fifth.
one is the worst movie of all time. Five is not
Uh-huh.
the worst movie of all time.
Yeah.
So mine is Triumph of Will.
Ooh.
This is a Nazi propaganda film. The reason I watched this movie, not not because I wanted to, but like I mentioned in the introduction episode to our podcast, I went to school for digital cinema, and one of the classes you take that's required is you like basically watch movies and then talk about them. And we had to watch this movie and then talk about it. And it's literally just a bunch of guys marching and Hitler yelling in German. So
Pretty great stuff.
it was it was uh it was terrible. It was not enjoyable to watch.
So, was there any like reason your teacher had you watch this, or is just like, hey, I found this, have fun?
I think we were talking about propaganda film at the time and how it was created to influence people. I think
Hmm.
it's been a while. It's been a lot of years since that class.
Hmm.
Um, but I think that's why. So yeah. I'm surprised on Letterboxd it has a 3.1 average rating.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking it didn't weren't like the Nazi like original propaganda movies like actually influential of like movie making itself.
Possibly I don't remember.
I would be surprised if Triumph on the Will wasn't on someone's like most influential movie list. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, not anyone alive. No.
those people are saluting Hitler in their graves now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I'll go with Down's fifth least favorite movie ever, and then I'll go with mine.
Okay.
So what he put down was the new Milan movie, the 2020 movie that came out.
Is that the live action one?
Yeah, the live action one.
Mm.
So basically, he just felt like it spits in the image of the original movie, and it does a bad job of representing what people liked about the original cartoon. And Mulan in that movie was very overpowered. So that's kind of it. That's not just not a good protagonist in general.
Yeah.
Did you see
I
that,
will
Spencer?
I did see that movie.
Hmm.
I will say I did like the movie, but the cartoon is way better. Like not even a competition.
Hmm. Yeah, everything about it's better. I think actually Mulan would be like in my top 20 favorite movies. So the original one. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good.
yeah. So my number five spot for least favorite movie ever is Jupiter Ascending. So
That's only your number five?
that's only my number five, and it's because the reason being is the other movies. It's like an anger scale where it's like this one is like, yeah, was it like horrendous? Sure. Does it make me angry? No. So the other
Oh my
movies,
goodness.
the reason why they're in the places that they are is because they make me so mad. So
Mm.
anyway, but it's just kind of like a mess of a movie, has like the dumbest lines and dumbest characters. There are some hot people in there, but that doesn't make up for it being a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did you see there's a YouTube video of someone who recreated the plot of Jupiter Ascending? Like they're or not recreated, but they explained the plot. Have you seen that movie or
no,
video?
no, do they like make fun of
It
it or they
yeah, it well no, they did their best to explain it, but because it was like the plot of the movie and it's so bad, like it's just puts into perspective how bad the movie actually is. So I'll have to share that with you.
Yeah.
Link in the description. if I
I
find
tried
it.
doing that in my review for the movie, and it just like I just gave up halfway through because I was just like, "There's too much."
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Spencer, what's your number four?
All right, my number four is The Day After Tomorrow. I, I don't know if you've seen that movie.
That's like the winter apocalypse movie, right?
Yeah. I thought like it might be like a cool plot in theory, but I'm just kidding. Um, but and I said this in my review, it is the plot with the most plot holes I've ever seen in a movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I can't name them like off the top of my head, but I just remember like while I was watching it, I was like, why are they doing this? Why don't they just do this? Why are they doing that? Why don't they just do this? That kind of thing, like while I was watching like the entire movie. So that is why it got put in my number four spot.
Well, it's like because from what I understand from the trailer, like the first 5 minutes is everything going to heck, and then the rest of the movie is just trying to survive in a wasteland, right? In this winter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That also doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
But is related to Down's number four spot, which was Frozen. That's his fourth least favorite movie of all time.
Frozen?
Yeah, Frozen,
An animated movie?
And the movie that everyone loves. He was annoyed with how popular it was, and he thought all the songs were annoying, and he thinks it's also overrated. So, yeah.
Oh, so he disliked it because it was popular.
Yeah, I dislike it because I'm not a girl. So,
Hey, what
um,
about Olaf? Olaf was funny.
so I also haven't seen it. So
Oh, that's right.
I'm one of the few people left alive who haven't seen Frozen, and I
I
hope to
can't
die that
believe that.
I hope to die never watching that movie. But yeah,
It's a very typical Disney movie. I feel like, I don't know, maybe people might argue against that, but
yeah. Jordan Peterson called it propaganda for some reason, but I do feel like it is a very like women like it, especially because they feel empowered by the songs itself. So, and also like one of the dudes is garbage or something, like the love interest, isn't he
oh yeah.
secretly evil? Spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I will say the production quality of that movie's good. Like
okay.
the animation, especially for the time. But if you're annoyed by the film, I could see why it
Yeah.
would not be your favorite.
My fourth least favorite movie of all time is Amazing Spider-Man 2. So the Andrew Garfield movie, the second one that came out that killed the franchise for Andrew Garfield being Spider-Man.
Oh, I feel
Yeah,
like
did
I've
you?
seen that.
Okay.
I need to look
So
and see.
my biggest problem with the movie is the villains. And so like Electro is just kind of like a weirdo in that movie the whole time. And it's not like the Joker movie where it's like someone who's like a relatable weirdo who's like a shut-in. Electro's just kind of like this creepy stalker who likes Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man said he was his like best friend or whatever. And so then like Spider-Man meets him again and doesn't even recognize him. And so that upsets him. And also that Spider-Man's like much more liked and famous than he is. That's just kind of like this stupid, like one of the more like I would say the worst written Spider-Man villain in Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Same thing with Harry Osborn, where it's like very half-baked, very forced, very like not good. The relationship is nothing like Spider-Man 2, where it's like Peter and Harry had like this brother relationship where it's like they're very upset and angry with each other, and you can feel the drama. Where this one, it's like, hey, can you save me? I have like this disease, and Spider-Man's like, nope, I'm not giving you my blood because it's in the wrong hands. It could be dangerous. So,
Yeah.
um,
So I looked it up and I did see the movie.
mhm,
And I did not rate it very well. I did not like it. I have a terrible memory. I've said this like 20 times, but
uh,
I said in my review, when it started, I liked it, but then it just got worse and worse and worse. And the biggest reason I did not like that movie is because a spoiler killed Gwen,
oh yeah.
and that's like a main character, and I was upset that they killed her. So
That was like the best part of the movie. No, I'm joking. Uh, no, I think people who like that movie, like they like the Gwen and Peter relationship, and they like the sappy, like the fact that she died part. Like I can't remember if I knew that Gwen died in the comics or not, so I wasn't like super shocked when she died. But I was very upset when like he was about to fight the Rhino at the end, and then they cut to black, and we don't get to see the
yeah,
fight. So I think just the whole movie was just disappointing and lazy, and so yeah.
yeah.
All right, Spencer, hit us number three.
All right. My number three is East of Eden.
With James Dean.
Yep. So I watched this movie when I was in college. It was for one of my classes. I don't remember which one, but this is supposed to be like some cinematic masterpiece.
Hmm.
And the entire time, I'm just like, there's nothing special about this movie. And so the main reason I dislike this movie is because so many people regard it as a masterpiece, and I disagree.
Okay. I watched Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean, so I think he's definitely like a good actor, but he's also done like five movies and he died young, so I don't know. I think he could have done like much better stuff later on.
Hmm.
So, and I'm probably not going to watch East of Eden, so you sold me.
Yeah, I would not recommend it.
Yeah. Dallin's third least favorite movie ever is Black Panther.
The first
So,
one?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So he says it felt like it was pandering to black people, and overall the plot and character motives were just not good. And I think people defend it because it's like an all black movie, or mostly, except for the guy who was in the Hobbit movies. But anyway, so yeah, that's his. I also tend to agree with that. It's not that good. It's actually a bad movie.
I will say I enjoyed Black Panther. I think my favorite part is the skin of the villain with all of those like
Oh, the
I don't know what
marks.
you call them, the
Yeah,
marks.
yeah, the evenly placed marks for every person he's killed.
Yeah, I think that looks super cool.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Yeah. He had to like measure him out perfectly, you know, and make sure all the marks looked the same and even, and none of them were like messed up or anyway. So,
Yeah.
so my third least favorite movie. Are we on the thirds already?
Yep.
It's Batman versus Superman. So,
Ooh, I have not seen that.
uh, that one was also one where it was like I was pretty excited to see it. And similar to Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman 1984, where I was because of the trailer, I was super excited. And then watching the movie, I was super like let down and disappointed. And Zack Snyder has done some really good stuff. It's just his writing is not good at all. And so he'll write like there's like a part of the movie where Batman's about to kill Superman, and Superman's like, "Save Martha," and that's like the exact same name as Batman's mom is Martha, and so he's like, "Why did you say that name?" you know.
Oh,
So it's just this. It's silly, and Lex Luthor like forcefully puts a Jolly Rancher in someone's mouth, and they're throwing in like Doomsday at the end of the movie, and Wonder Woman shows up at the end of the movie. So it's like,
wait, Wonder Woman is in Batman versus Superman?
right, yeah, she is.
I did not know
She's
that.
yeah, so she just shows up at the end because so it's like you're mixing because like I think DC was just trying to do like a Civil War movie and set up the Avengers movie, and so they're trying to because they're this movie actually came out before Civil War, so I think they were trying to do some competition. So, but it was just bad. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was just garbage. What can I say?
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't heard great things about that movie, and that's probably why I have not seen it still.
Yeah.
So,
And there's nothing really interesting about the fight scenes either. So it's like
who plays
that's not
Batman in that one?
Ben Affleck or Affleck. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. He looks good. It just I don't think the directing was good, so therefore the acting wasn't good. So anyway, kind of boring. So what's number two on your list, Spencer?
All right. My number two is Birds of Prey,
Oh,
the
the Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn movie. I don't remember why I watched this movie, but I just remember after watching the movie, I was like, man, that was not a good movie. Like, I don't know if I could pinpoint anything, but I just was like disappointed, very disappointed after watching that. Like, I don't, maybe I just had higher expectations than what
Hmm.
it delivered, but yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, I watched that movie. So Black Mask for one is a clown, right? He's played by Ewan McGregor, who played Obi-Wan in the Star Wars prequels. So he's generally just not like that great of an actor. And so for to pick him as Black Mask and also Black Mask character was also just not well written. Like Harley Quinn is probably like the worst variation of Harley Quinn I've seen.
Hmm.
I think she's actually like really good in like the original Suicide Squad movie, even though that movie wasn't good. And she's also good in like the sequel, the Suicide Squad movie with John Cena. And
Wait, John Cena's in that movie?
yeah, he plays Peacemaker. He's like super funny.
Oh, I have
So
not seen Suicide Squad, so
yeah, you
either of
got
them.
you got to watch the second one, if you got time. But um, anyway, point being is, yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. Harley Quinn's that movie was just bad. The Birds of Prey. It didn't even really have anything to do with Birds of Prey either. It's just like she was mentoring this random girl she found
Yeah, why is it called Birds of Prey?
because that was like the team name in the comics for like all these women superheroes, including Harley Quinn.
Oh,
And so the movie really has nothing to do with like I can't even remember anything about like the other heroines in that movie. So
yeah.
um yeah. My number two is Iron Man 3. So just
Oh,
a lot of superhero movies. Uh so I liked the trail. That was another one. So this one made me very upset because the Mandarin mostly. Like in the trailer, he made him seem like the super intelligent terrorist. And so you're kind of like thinking like, oh, is he gonna like break down Tony Stark? What's his plans? What's his reasoning behind he's a terrorist? And then in the movie, it's like, have you watched Iron Man 3, Spencer?
yes, I have.
Okay, so it's like the twist where it's like the Mandarin's actually this actor named Trevor, who's just this goofy little weirdo who thinks he's doing like a role for something, and the actual Mandarin is this random dude that Tony Stark like ignored forever ago. So
I don't remember Iron Man 3. Like, even with that recap, I
this is
like
the movie where
cannot
he
picture it.
spends the least amount of time in his Iron Man suit. And at the very end of the movie, he destroys all his Iron Man suits as a symbol that he's given up something. And
Oh,
then he does some surgery where he takes out like the little reactor in his chest and it successfully goes well. So it's like he didn't really, there's no reason to him having that reactor.
oh,
And that kind of
yeah,
like ruins the Avengers movie because he brings that up as being part of him, who he is, and accepting who he is.
yeah,
So I just hated the movie. I just hated it.
yeah.
Downs number two is Captain Marvel, so another superhero movie.
Oh, that one I didn't like.
Yeah. So he thought the acting was bad, plot was bad, and also Captain Marvel was a Mary Sue, where she's just like this overpowered character, which I agree with. Where I think the only thing setting her back was society telling her that she wasn't as good as she is. You know.
Yeah, I I agree.
Yeah. All right, Spencer, what's your least favorite movie of all time?
Well, this is gonna be a big surprise for you,
Yeah.
but it's Jupiter Ascending.
All right.
We already talked about this, but I thought I'd add a little bit of backstory. So I watched this with Matt and Dallin in theaters. And I remember after the movie, we're all like, we want our money back. And yeah, then a few years went by and I got married in that time and my wife had not seen the movie. And so we're like, she needs to see this terrible, terrible movie. So we watched it again with her, and it was even worse the second time. it's just the plot makes no sense at all. It's just so confusing of a movie. I don't know. I don't know how it even like came to pass.
Yeah. Dowlan's, by the way, is also his number one least favorite movie is also Jupiter Ascending. So
Oh.
acting was bad, plot can't be followed very well. He thought there was a lot of so this was made by one of the Wachowski sisters. So originally like the Wachowski brothers who made the Matrix, and then they both transitioned, and then one of them made this movie. So I think they're just kind of like in the sense of they're in a different dimension as far as what reality is. So
Yeah.
there's quite a few similarities actually between like this movie and The Matrix, where it's like you're going down the rabbit hole of reality. What you think is real is actually isn't real. Like she's secretly queen
Mm.
of the universe or whatever, and she's not just this boring person who cleans toilets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's surprisingly like bad, but it's I think like the first time we watched it, we were all laughing because it was just so like we were expecting like this like Matrix level movie, and then the second time watching it, we knew it was gonna be bad, so it was like it's just more torture. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think now that my wife has seen it and I've seen it twice, I don't think I ever want to see it again. Like, even if someone else hasn't seen it and they want to see it, I'll just be like, you need to watch it on your own time.
I think if I was like, nah, actually no, I don't think there's any situation where I watch it again.
Yeah. I would recommend, like I mentioned earlier, I'll see if I can find it and link it in the description, but the video of the guy who is explaining the plot and it like puts into perspective how bad the plot is.
Yeah, pretty good. All right, so my least favorite movie of all time is Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
What number is
Episode
that?
Episode 8. So this is one of the Disney movies. I think I remember watching this in theaters and thinking, trying to like think in my mind, I'm like, okay, if like the original Star Wars movies didn't exist, would I still think this is a good movie? Or it's like, or even if The Force Awakens didn't exist, would I still think this is a good movie? And like what the conclusion I came down to after watching the film was like, it's not. It is just no matter how you look at it, it is just such a bad film. And I think like the ninth movie actually supports that, where it's like there's such a writing and retcon and like story shift from like Force Awakens to Last Jedi back to Rise of Skywalker. And I think like the reason why this movie is as bad as it is just because of Rey, the pink hair lady, Holdo, and Rose. So they're like the three most obnoxious characters in the film because Rey, like they really all are just like arrogant and condescending is how to describe all of them. Where like Rey doesn't need trading from Luke, you know, and Luke's just this loser. Like it's like you lose, you learn in the movie that it's like obviously he's a loser, right? So it's like just within that story of itself, like what's the point of going to this random person, right? Like why would you want to watch that for any movie? And Haldo's like this bad leader who doesn't communicate with Poe, and Princess Leia kind of backs her up by stunning him for no reason. So um, I think he's like a hero and he's right. And that's what's so frustrating is like they just treat him like he's an idiot, you know, even though everything he does is correct. And Rose is also like, you know, she's like basically kidnapped Finn to go on this adventure to learn about how like child slavery is bad, apparently, and mistreating animals is also bad, apparently. And so they decide to free the animals and run away, right? And, you know, finish up the plot. She interrupts his self-sacrifice and talks about how it's like you don't win wars by fighting what you hate, it's by saving what you love, you know, which is
Hmm.
also wrong. So Ray is just like incredibly good at everything. It's like even for Star Wars, it's like unbelievably good. Like there's like one shot where she like is in the Millennium Falcon and she shoots like three TIE fighters like all in a line, you know? So it's like these crazy moving objects all in the air to shoot like three of them like that. I've never seen that in Star Wars. And since then, it has been nothing but a bunch of feminists in Star Wars just spitting at the Star Wars fans. Like for the past 8 years since that movie came out, that's all it is. Yeah. So the reason why it's number one is because it makes me the most angry out of all of these.
Yeah.
We've both seen movies that are bad, that are like hilariously bad, that are poorly made. But these movies in particular make me really angry. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember the first time I watched that movie, I thought it was all right, but then I watched it again later and I don't know what was going on the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it, I was like, wow, this is not a good movie. Like I didn't like it nearly as much as the first time I watched it. So
yeah.
yeah.
I really can't believe someone can seriously like it. Like, they either have to be like a blind Star Wars fan where they just like anything Star Wars, or they hate Star Wars and they just like it when Ryan Johnson upsets the fans, you know?
Yeah.
So, well, any movies that almost made your list?
Yeah, so there's a couple Disney Channel movies and Hallmark movies that I thought about putting on the list, but those are for like a very specific type of audience, and so I decided not to put them on my list. The ones that I picked, well, I guess the Triumph of Will is for a very specific audience too, but yeah. So
Even if
those,
you're
I
like an
guess,
actual Nazi, I don't think you'd think it's fun.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think those are the only ones that I thought about putting on the list that I didn't. Were there any for you?
The actual like the first Suicide Squad movie, I wanted to. I think Solo, the Star Wars story, is also bad. The Fantastic Four film, Fan Four Stick. Me and Dallin also watched that in theaters together, and it was just like brain rot essentially, where you're just it's just mind numbing bad. But I didn't. I mean, like I forgot about it immediately, so it's like, you know,
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, so.
it didn't give me cancer.
But the your top five did.
Yeah, yeah, they did. I'm gonna die younger. So,
Yeah. Oh, snap. Well, that was our top five least favorite movies of all time. Thanks for listening or watching to this episode. Make sure to comment and let us know if there's any other movies that we should have added to our list, or if you agree or disagree with our list. But thanks again for watching. Make sure to leave a rating and a review. It'll help us out. And we'll see you in the next episode, which we will be talking about our top five favorite TV shows of all
oh
time.
yeah.
So we're going back to our top five favorites in the next episode.
Hmm.
Hmm.